Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today we are going to be continuing work on the retaining wall over here by the Tudor corner on the expansion table of the city. Recently, we worked on this section down here, and I think it looks really good. I'm extremely happy with it, but there is still a lot more work to do, and so today I want to focus on this section right here. So that is what the goal is for the video today, is to pretty much finish this entire section here. So without me talking too much, let's just jump right in. All right, so like I said, my goal for today is to finish this section here. So first things first, I got to get a base plate, and then we have to map out exactly what is going to go on here. I think what I want to do is I want to have the retaining wall come to about here, maybe have one more arch right through there, and then the rest of this I want to just be rock work with a little wall at the top, kind of like how this is right here. So I want to have some rock work. I want to have some more retaining wall. So there's a lot to get started on. So let me grab that base plate and then we can start mapping it out and getting to work. All right, so this is my very tentative plan here. The arches, like I said, is going to stop about there. And then I want the rock work to bulge out like that. And then obviously it would continue up. And then the beach, I want the sand to kind of transition into some rocks down here. And then the water could get a little bit deeper as well, because this is the most shallow version of water. So I would use maybe dark azure or regular blue plate over here. But I want to get the base of the rock panels done before I start putting water down, because I don't want to have to rip up these plates. So just trying to save myself a little bit of work here. So we're going to get started probably with the retaining wall and continuing that section, because that's just the easiest thing to do, I think. So let me get started on that, and then we can move over to this base plate and then get started on that as well. All right, so I've started work on this section here, and I mainly started with the wall. I felt like that was probably the best place to start. And then so basically what I'm doing is I'm just putting some bricks down, and then all the colorful stuff down here is going to get covered by sand. So you're never going to see it anyways, like how you see this under here. And so I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm also starting to map out where I want the shoreline to be. This is all rough. Obviously, I'm going to go in with 1x1s and 1x2s and smooth that out. But I kind of like that. I think that looks good. And then I want to maybe have like some sand built up here. So kind of like this. I think that looks pretty good. And then we can get started on the rock work once that's all in place. So I think this is coming along pretty nicely. So let me continue working on this and we can take it from there. But I don't know exactly how I want this to look. Like, I have a general idea. Obviously, I want it to continue looking like this, but I want the sand to look a little different. And I'm also running kind of low on gray brick. So I'm trying to make it go as far as I can. And I also want to include some snot bricks in the wall as well, especially in this area for the rock work. I think that could be really cool. Instead of just using the rock panels, I think using some snot bricks and some sideways details would look really cool as well. But let me tinker with a couple things and I'll show you what I come up with. All right, so I've been pretty busy over here, and like I said, I wanted the sand to look a little bit different, so I've been using a lot more bricks as opposed to plates. And also that's because I have a lot of 2x4 brick in tan, and I just don't have a lot of plate left because I used it all right over here. So I'm pretty much going through, and I think this looks pretty good. I'm not totally happy with the super steep edges right here, but this area I think looks good, and I think that's a nice touch. And then again, I do still need to make these edges a little smoother down here, but I think this looks good, and I'm almost to the point where I want to switch over to the rock work. And speaking of rock work, I did this. It's very small, but I do think it looks pretty decent, and this is held in with a couple of the bright light green, I think is the color. Let me see if I can get one. And so these snot bricks here are actually fantastic. And so this is the piece that I'm talking about. And so pretty much it just, there's two of them back there. And then I put a 1x2 plate on the top set of the studs. And then I just added a couple of slopes on it. And that's pretty much it. I would like to add a little bit more in this area here, but I'll see if I have the space for it. And that is pretty much it as of right now. I did also add a snot brick so I can add a little bit more foliage like I did under the bridge here. And also, speaking of the bridge, I did ask the channel members how this area is looking, and a lot of them said that it looked good, and a number of them did also say that it needs more support under here. So I will be adding more supports and probably specifically arches to the column that you're seeing right now. I think that's probably the best thing to do, but I will also tinker with a couple of ideas before the end of the video, so definitely stay tuned for that. And also, this is your mid-video reminder to click subscribe and also click the bell notification so you don't miss any future uploads. And if you're interested in becoming a channel member and seeing behind-the-scenes updates and getting early access to videos and also exclusive videos, make sure to click the join button next to the channel name or click the link in the description. All right, so I started on the rock work here, and I'm not totally happy with how it's turning out so far. I'm kind of stuck as to how I want this to look. So that's why I haven't made a whole lot of progress on this. But the wall is pretty much done here. I do just need to go in and finish the bricks on the top here. And I'll probably add one more layer of bricks to the top here just so people don't fall off the edge. But I think this looks pretty good. I might also make that like a rail or something, like a fence maybe. I haven't totally decided, but I think this looks really good, and I'm pretty happy with it, and so that's all that I have to update you guys on so far. So let me go ahead and continue working on this rock work, and hopefully we get somewhere with it, but I guess we will see how that goes. All right, so this is what I've got done so far, and I actually am starting to like this a little bit more now. I pretty much ripped everything out since you last saw it, and I just started over, and I think this is coming along a lot nicer now. And I like the shaping of it, and I think that is starting to turn out decently well. And I added dark gray plate under here as well, because then once the tiles go in, then it's going to look like the rocks are also under the water, which is my goal. So I think that looks good. And then right now what I'm trying to do is work on this area here, because I want it to kind of come up steep and then kind of slope into this. And then the wall is going to come on top of it. And actually, the way that I managed to get past my little roadblock that I was having earlier was to kind of work backwards and start from the top and work my way down. Because I knew how I wanted it to look at the top, but I wasn't sure how I wanted it to look down here. So I just started messing with pieces up top, and then I slowly started making my way down and then connecting it to the base plate and then all the other surrounding pieces as well. And that seemed to work pretty good, actually. And so I'm kind of happy with how this is turning out. It could be better, like this side right down here, I think needs a little bit of work. And also, this edge doesn't look the best, and all of this obviously needs work as well. But I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. I think it looks pretty good. And so let me continue working on it, and I will show you guys what I come up with. All right, so I went ahead and I finished up the whole section here. And so I finished up the wall and I made this little fence design, and it matches the one from the train station from the other day, which I think is nice. And I think it looks pretty good. It's simple, it's basic, but it gets the job done. Still not sure what I want to put here, but that will probably have to be its own project since it's pretty long and it's a pretty big bridge here. So we're going to figure that out in its own video. But I like the sand. I think it looks pretty good. The stuff here I still don't love, but I think that looks pretty decent. And then this section right here is looking pretty good as well. And I added a couple figures that hop the wall here and are just hanging out, which is cool to see. And then I also added another seagull and a little tiny bit more foliage. I didn't want to go completely overboard with it, but I think this looks great. I'm very happy with how that all turned out here. And I do want to also just mention, I am aware of the fact that I connected these two base plates together. That is just so I can move this around easy, and then once all the plates go in, I don't have to worry about the tiles overlapping as well for the water. So I think that looks fine, and it just made everything easier today instead of having to go through and make a seam here, because I was also pretty short on 1x1 bricks, so that helped a ton. But overall, I'm very, very happy with how this area turned out. And I also went in and changed out the support pillar here. So now it looks like it's actually supposed to be here, which it is. And so basically all I did was just add some 2x2 brick and then some big arches underneath here. And that is pretty much it. I could also smooth this out with some inverted curved slopes as well, which I will probably do on both sides eventually. I just need to see what I have in my collection. But that is going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what I did in this corner of the city, make sure to like the video and subscribe, as well as click the bell notification so you don't miss any future uploads. If you guys have any feedback for me on the rock work and the support pillar here and anything else I should add into this area, make sure to drop a comment down below. I would love to hear what you guys think. But once again, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.